I can't sit next to you.
I thought you said willing able. I don't get the reference if there is one. Or did you just misspeak?
No, it's a reference.
To what?
It's a wrestling tag team.
Oh, okay.
Instead of it's his one of the wrestlers in the tag team. His name is Chad Gable. They're Ready, Willing, and Gable.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it now. I just didn't know the
Got some work to do with you.
reference at the time.
Okay. Got some work to do. See who's on the play here in just a moment. Todd and Kevin. These two have played quite a bit. And Todd's going to start things off with a Kithian, Hero of Akros. An island and Mausoleum Wanderer. That's kind of just sums it up, right? In just what the one-drops are.
Yep.
One is very aggressive and one is like kind of a bad blocker, but a good enough blocker now?
Well, Todd just has the option to pump the brakes here and then attack with 3 mana up, and then there's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
I think Kithian's going to be a big problem for Kevin in this matchup.
I think so.
Even just a 2-power indestructible attacker is problematic enough, and I think an early Gideon is big trouble for him as well.
Town Gossip Monger there from Anderson. He'll simply pass the turn back. 3 mana. I think it's always watching. It is. Safe to attack now, that's for sure. And Kevin's land for the turn was a copy of Evolving Wild. So now Todd, inside combat, says, I'll transform my Town Gossip Monger into an Incited Rabble, deal you plenty of damage.
And here's the difference between the two decks.
Yeah.
I think Anderson, in terms of power to mana, does a lot better than Kevin does. His lands all enter the battlefield on tap. Kevin here had to take a turn off to sacrifice an Evolving Wilds. I don't think Kevin can get always watching off the battlefield. So he is already way behind.
Yeah, that is problematic. We'll go Kevin Jones's way, however.
An Incited Mob is basically better than any creature in Kevin's deck.
Especially when it's a 3/4.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing that there is in Magic, is that creature right now.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh, but he's not going down with at least throwing 1 punch. Oh, hold up. All right. I thought he was at least going to throw 1 punch before conceding.
One little jab.
Yeah, just get him to 19. Let him know what's in your range.
There's a Battlefield Forge. Beatdowns. There's a Rattle Chains. Now the Wanderer does become a 2-power creature. So
okay.
that's
so we
something.
can double block the Incited Mob.
Correct.
That's nice. All right, getting a foothold. Getting a foothold in this.
Got to work him down.
Yeah.
Okay. Jump in front of Kithian. Indestructible. Okay.
All right.
It's going to be a tough matchup for Kevin, I think. Another Town Gossip Monger. Pass the turn back. Not impossible, but this game's looking real bad.
I think Kevin needed to double block there and try to make some inroads on the table. He's probably beat no matter what, but...
Yeah, all he can do is pass the turn back here. Stuck on lands here is Kevin. Go back Todd's way. He's drawn a plains. He's almost drawn too many lands.
Yeah, that's the other thing here. It's not even like Todd's land-to-spell ratio has been good.
Todd looking to attack some more creatures. We might see a Kithian transformation in just a moment. He's lining him up. Make sure he doesn't make an error here. There we go. There's another Rattle Chains. That's going to resolve.
I think another dispiriting double block is coming. Or single block, I guess.
I would try the double block.
Double chump?
Yeah. I just don't know where we get by doing this.
No, yeah, it's not. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you know how big 3/4 is against the Spirits deck?
I do.
It's like, that's the biggest thing there is.
Yeah.
There's no recourse here.
Kithian got to transform into Gideon Battle Forged now. Jones down to 5. Gideon going to go up one way or another here in just a second. Yeah, and there's the biggest creature of all time.
Yeah.
Todd Gunu +1 or +2? +2. There's a land. There's another white orchid. Todd is empty-handed and sitting pretty cozy. Kevin with land number 3. And with any luck, he has a Black Lotus, couple Moxen, Upheaval,
Yep.
Lodestone Golem.
The bygone bishop
That is going to do it.
and a mausoleum wanderer.
Yeah, Todd Anderson's going to win game number 1 here over Kevin Jones. White-Red Humans very quickly up a game over Banned Spirits. Now, Kevin does have some cards to bring to the table, as we see 3 Lambhold Pacifist, 2 Declaration Stone, 2 Negate, 2 Planner Outburst, 2 Aerial Volley, an Archangel Avacyn, Notice Command, a Summary Dismissal, and a Bygone Bishop.
So I like bringing in the 2 copies of Declaration Stone alongside the 3 Lambhold Pacifists, and then Planner Outburst. If Jones can buy himself enough time, if you get to cast a sweeper against White Humans, you are a huge favorite to win the game. So even though 5 mana is a lot, I still think it's worth bringing in.
Other side of things here for Todd, very reminiscent to what we saw from Tom as they were playing very similar deck lists this weekend. 4 Needle Spires, 4 Reckless Bushwhacker for the control matchups, a Grifspoon, a Repel the Abominable, a Silk Wrap, 2 Stasis Snare, and then 2 Gideon Ally of Zendikar.
So I don't like the Gideons in this matchup. I think Kevin has too many flyers for that card to be good, but I do like going to the higher land count and bringing in the Reckless Bushwhackers. It's very hard for Jones, as you can see. He doesn't brawl very well with Anderson, so setting up those big turns shouldn't be that hard for Todd, and I think he can generate a really big edge that way.
Well, gives you an idea what both players are working with here. So they will shuffle up, get ready to rock and roll. I got a feeling we'll have time to jump to a backup match, so that's a good thing. But in the meantime, we are going to discuss the StarCityGames.com newsletter. It's your source for Magic Gathering news, and best of all, it's free.
Get all the information about the going-ons of Star City Games with the latest information about the SCG Tour with a selected SCG Tour match of the week, exclusive deck lists and advice from many of your favorite columnists, and exclusive cardboard crack comic. Best of all, signing up is free over at go.starcitygames.com/newsletter.
Well, we are going to learn a little bit more about Todd Anderson right now. He's 6-1, kind of back on the horse. Took a little bit of time off from Magic. I know he took a little trip to the World Series of Poker. Dabbled around there a little bit. Has been seeing a little bit of success in poker recently, but we know Magic is his true game.
I know he and Tom Ross, in true Southern gentleman fashion, recently split, I believe, a riverboat poker tournament of some sort.
About 2 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, so one of them from Louisiana, one from Alabama.
That's right.
Fitting story.
Absolutely.
So starting to dip his toes in that water. I know that he's been like kind of a casual poker player for a while now, but has started to turn into a little bit of tournament success.
Absolutely, for the 30-year-old who currently resides in Roanoke, Virginia. I know we say his hometown's Roanoke, but he's from Alabama.
I believe Birmingham, Alabama is
That's
his hometown.
28 of those open top 8s there. It's quite a few, along with 6 wins, 3 invitational top 8s, and a W for Todd Anderson, who is married to the wonderful Callie Anderson, the self-proclaimed best NFL blitz player ever. And after our conversation this morning, apparently he's real good at NBA Jam, too.
Yeah.
So we got a challenge in front of us.
He had some Twitter sol he threw at Ross Merriam. I guess, he had his performance on Jeopardy yesterday. Didn't go especially well.
Okay.
Then went to the bar, tried to play NBA Jam against Todd. I guess Todd ran him over there, too.
Yep.
Been tough.
Todd giving beatdowns.
Give him beatdowns.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of hours for Ross Merriam. No, he got here late this morning.
Yep.
Not sure if he's actually in the tournament or not. Been a rough go of it for the boss, Ross.
Got pranjalled on national TV the other day.
Just like Kevin got. Kevin just got pranjalled. Yeah. Kevin just got pranjalled. Ross got pranjalled. It's just been a pranjalling everywhere. Unbelievable. Kevin going to start off with a Mausoleum Wanderer. Here's an Expedition Envoy. Well, it doesn't look like Kevin has the mana issues that he had in the last game. Maybe his lands are a little bit slow to get going. You see Purration was going to end the battlefield tap.
You just could not talk me into playing a beatdown deck with a bunch of Coastal Towers and Elfhame Palaces.
No, never.
There's no way.
I'd rather lose.
I like the way that Jeff Hoagland has constructed his deck, where he's going a little bit bigger. He's conceding that some of his lands are going to enter the battlefield tap, and so he's playing with a lot more expensive cards.
Well, it's just so frustrating, right? Because Kevin's next land is a Fortified Village. That's going to enter the battlefield tap, then you're playing off curve. It's just, it's really, really frustrating.
And Evolving Wilds.
Also frustrating.
Perfect. It does look like he has a Planar Outburst in hand, though, so he does have something to play towards.
All right, so he's got the setup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just fumble around for 4 turns and hope that your turn 5 sweeper is good enough, and a good percentage of the time it is.
Yep. You maybe get to catch your opponent off guard with it.
Yeah.
So that can count for something. Here come the beatdowns. Kithian in, 3-man Inspector going to deal 3. Jones going to fall down to 17. Here is a Hannahware Militia Captain. Is there a follow-up? Nope. Just pass the turn back. Jones will draw. Canopy Vista. Well, there's Yavimaya Coast. Going to represent Collected Company here. Plains the draw here for Anderson. There's that. And now here's Collected Company. So, Kevin Jones will take a look at the top 6. We'll see if he can find 2 cards to place on the battlefield. It's a Spell Queller, some sort of flip card.
Pacifist. There's too many cards on the checklist. It's not one of the Origins ones.
Nailed it.
Boom!
Yep. Still have it.
Still got it.
What's worse for coverage? The San Diego Comic-Con Planeswalkers or checklist cards?
The San Diego Comic-Con Planeswalkers. And there's another, Expeditions.
Expeditions,
yeah.
yeah.
By far the worst.
Okay.
And then the Comic-Con Planeswalkers.
All right, and then checklist cards?
Then checklist cards.
Got it. And then Sensei's Divining Top?
And Sensei's Divine Top is probably, I think it is worse than checklist cards, but not as bad as Expeditions.
Okay. All right. Got to rank them.
Right.
Got to rank them.
It's really bad,
It's
certainly.
it's not great.
Because at least with the checklist cards, it gets cleaned up pretty fast. There's some uncertainty for a moment, but then someone puts the real card into play and we move on with our life.
Yep.
When someone has, like a Blood Crypt Expedition is just there the whole game. And is it a Wooded Foothills? Is it a Graven Cairns? Like, I don't know. No one knows. It's just there the whole time.
Spell Queller going to come across. Todd's going to sacrifice his clue. He'll draw a card. Now it's time for Anderson to untap and draw. He's got a Plains now. Much better game here from Kevin this go-around. Last time he just got run over, but now he's actually interacting a little bit back and forth, showing the power of Collected Company in his deck. But again, he's taking the Spirit Tribal approach as opposed to either no Tribal approach or the Humans approach that we saw from Corey Baumeister a little bit earlier today.
Yep. But even though he's on the Spirits thing, he's still playing with Reflector Mage. Still good enough, even without Tribal synergies. Shocking.
There's a Thraben Inspector. All right, let's head back Kevin Jones's way. Not a lot of pressure from Anderson this game. It's much different than the first one.
Yeah, he drew infinite creature removal so far, He did have a Kithion in his hand. I guess he elected not to play because he's sensing that Jones could have a sweeper here.
Well, the way that Kevin's opened up this game, think about it, his first thing that he played was a turn 4 Collected Company.
Yeah, no, I think Anderson had a good read on the situation.
Yeah.
And it's not even a total waste of his turn here because Anderson still has a clue he can sacrifice.
It's a little suspicious, I think, and Todd is pretty good at picking up on stuff like that. Anderson will draw.
But now he can add the Kithion as the 4th threat because he still has the mana left over to make it indestructible.
Mm-hmm. Not a bad spot to be in there. The thing that's always just really tough when you're playing against Collected Company deck is when they just have all this open mana. Like, attacking is just a disaster because you just don't know.
All right. Fortunately, Anderson's hand is a little bit forced here insofar as his deck doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah, that's true. Looks like Todd might have a question here, I suppose. Maybe he's just considering out loud how he wants to attack. We will find out here momentarily. Hey, it's trying to get the Oracle text on a card. See if we can find out which one. It wants to know the Nimble Ghast Herald.
Which?
That's the one that comes in and taps a creature.
Yep. And Kevin is playing with 4.
Okay. There's Thai's Lieutenant. See if this resolves. Yeah, see, there's Nimble Ghast Herald. That's what Todd was worried about. Can it maybe untap a creature? Maybe I'm sure he was asking, maybe Pestermite style or Deceiver Exarch style. Collected Company. I believe this is still with Thalia's Lieutenant on the stack with the way that Kevin pointed to it, because he will have the opportunity to Spell Queller it if things do break his way.
Right, and I think that he would prefer to Reflector Mage Hanawar Militia Captain should that show up, so it's better to do it in response, not wait for it to enter play.
Yep. All right. Quelled it good. What's this? Stasis Snare high. Stasis Snare that one. Lieutenant comes in. Counters here, counters there, counters everywhere.
But I think Jones is about to get paid off for the planar outburst here.
Yeah.
He's bled out a lot of Anderson's resources.
Pretty adorable little combo, like Selfless Spirit, Save Your Team, planar outburst.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. that's right up your right up your alley. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Here it comes. Selfless Spirit going to come in here. Todd doesn't want to block. I'm not going to trade my Lieutenant with your Spirit. No way.
I don't think he has the option. I think the Selfless Spirit is also a flyer.
You're right.
Anywho,
if he could,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. There's planar outburst.
Todd wouldn't block even if he could.
Nope. All right, here's all my knuckleheads. Yeah. Reload.
Release the idiots.
Yep. Let's see if this is good.
Jones is at 7.
It could be good. Jones will draw. Got a Port Town in hand. Everyone's favorite blue-white land. And there's the battlefield tapped always. There's Selfless Spirit. Here comes Spell Queller. Kevin needs something like Archangel Avacyn, honestly.
0 copies in the list. 1 in the sideboard. I'd be surprised if it came in this matchup.
Okay.
5 mana is a lot.
Anderson will draw. Looks like maybe another copy of Kithian. Anderson would like to attack if he's allowed. And just Kithian. Oh, that's a checklist card in Kevin's hand, so.
Yeah, I think it may be Archangel Avacyn.
Yeah.
Based on the number of checks it has.
Indestructible and yeah, it's 5 mana. It's Archangel Avacyn.
Okay.
It's bad news now for Todd. Yeah, he just can't beat. He can't beat that in combination with the other flyers. So Kevin Jones going to tie things up here against Todd Anderson. Banned Spirits, White Red Humans going to game number 3. Who's laughing now?
Yeah, well, Planar Outburst is a game changer in this matchup.
Yeah.
Mono White Humans is one of the few creature decks in the format that is regularly just cold to a sweeper. And 5 mana is a lot, and on the draw, you know, Kevin may not get to 5 mana, but it is a game changer in the matchup.
So does this mean that perhaps we should see the Bushwhacker package?
Oh, I thought that Todd should have boarded it in. Like I said, I think there's too much flying in Kevin's deck for Gideon to have much of a home, and I'm sure the Bushwhacker with the Gideons, with the 22 lands, all part of the same package here. I'm still suspicious of Gideon in the matchup, but I would go to the Reckless Bushwhackers and probably increase the land count as well. Needle Spire is also not bad now that you know he's gone to Planar Outburst. Like being able to follow up with a creature land that attacks for a fair bit might also have value now for Todd, knowing that Kevin has access to a sweeper.
Okay, well, we're going to see if Todd does change some things here. You see he's shuffling up, getting ready for game number 3. Kevin Jones is taking a moment to get ready for game number 3 away from the table. So we have been talking about regionals a lot this weekend as we are gearing up for that for Season 2, where you can plant your flag in your appropriate location. And now here's a quick commercial to kind of explain some more of the details and what you get for going to your regional.
Don't miss the StarCityGames.com Regional Championships. On August 6th, play Standard at one of the many regional locations across the US and Canada. The first 200 players to register for each event will receive a Hot Pursuit playmat and token just for signing up. Regional Championships are part of the SCG Tour with SCG points for all players. Champions will earn an exclusive trophy, and all top 8 competitors will receive a playmat, pin, share of $5,000, and a spot in an upcoming SCG Invitational. Visit go.starcitygames.com/regionals to learn more.
Go.starcitygames.com/regionals. Looking forward to that tournament. And like we said a couple times here, it's our first time in Canada.
International.
Yeah. So hopefully with our next regionals, that'll take place in Season 3. We can get more Canadian locations, Toronto, Ontario, Montreal, some other places up there. We want to be able to expand the program as best we can. So for all you store owners out there, look and get Star City Games Regionals. It's been a successful program. We want to expand it even more.
How about Vancouver? That is a significant Magic city historically.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're more than happy to.
Yep.
We want to get our tournaments out to as many people who want to run them. That's what it's all about.
I know there was some very significant store there in the 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if it's still there. Was it Mistress Factory, Mistress Workshop? Hopefully someone out there in social media can chime in for me.
I'm not sure.
Jeff Cunningham, Ryan Fuller. There's some history there in that area.
Those guys could play.
Yeah.
Vancouver had some nice Magic. Kevin Jones back at the table. So let's take a moment to learn about the man they call the Daddy. 28 years old, is the member of TeamMetaGameGurus.com from Kingstown, New York. 9 open top 8s, 2 wins, most recently in Dallas just a couple weeks ago, so congratulations to him. Adding another trophy to his mantle. Played college tennis at Pace University as a walk-on after teaching himself the game. Won the Eternal Weekend Legacy Championship with Blue Red Delver and enjoys reading. Reads at least one mystery novel every single week, does Kevin Jones.
Man, that well's got to get dry pretty fast. I mean, you go through the good ones quickly, and then it's the leftovers.
There are some bad ones out there,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, most genres of any sort of art, there's the iconic stuff, there's the well-done stuff. You go and devour that very quickly, and then you have whatever's left.
It's just like anything else, right?
Like anything else.
Good movies, bad movies.
Yep.
We watched a horrible movie yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, truly terrible.
Truly terrible.
X-Men Apocalypse was truly horrible.
Yep.
I can't believe I gave up before it fully ended.
Yeah.
I just decided to turn the TV off and fall asleep. Disappointing, to say the least.
I gave up on the X-Men franchise in perpetuity after X-Men 3, so I haven't watched any of them. So
in X-Men Apocalypse, they make a joke about how the third one in the series is always bad.
Yeah.
And so they literally made a joke about that in reference to X3 being so bad.
That's still...
And then this is the third one of this series, and it was horrible.
Also, yeah. Also, X-Men Apocalypse is such a hacky name when the villain is Apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's like... You gotta try a little harder than that.
I wanted it to be good. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Looks like Todd's going to take a mulligan. He'll keep Scribe at the bottom. We're underway here in Game 3. It's a Dragon Hunter to start. And Evolving Wilds there for Kevin. For Todd, land 2. Values Lieutenant, pump up the jam, get you for 3. Jones down to 17 already. He'll sack the Evolving Wilds. We'll see what land he wants to get.
I'm not asking for art. It's a superhero movie, But a little effort would be nice.
Just a real title?
Right. X-Men Apocalypse.
Also, Apocalypse is kind of lame.
Batman, the Joker. Like, come on. Like, try a little harder than that.
Here's a Lamhold Pacifist. Let's go Todd's way. That is dead. Todd will help. Don't worry.
Yep.
Silk Wrap that. And no follow-up, just pass.
Back in my day, you would have put the Silk Wrap under the Lamhold Pacifist and flicked it off the table.
Yep.
Todd with a slightly more sporting 2016 version of that move.
I used to just shovel it in their face, but that's uncalled for. My Ohio ways. Always watching. Looks like it may resolve. No, I think Kevin does have a Spell Queller. I think. Ooh. Is Todd going to see through the Spell Queller here? Because the Spell Queller kills the Lieutenant. This is going to be an awesome combat.
Yeah. You can see. You can see. That's a subtle thing.
Yep.
Todd put his finger on the Thales Lieutenant like he was getting ready to attack with it. That induced Jones to not counter the always watching.
That is awesome.
It's a small thing, but he sold that.
Yep.
That is some riverboat, Louisiana gambling maneuver right there.
Spell Queller is going to come down. Not going to get any value. Just going to be a 2-3. Now here's another Lamhold Pacifist. Pass the turn back.
Savvy.
Kevin got cute. Todd didn't fall for it.
Yeah. I knew that point to the Thalia's Lieutenant is so subtle, but with purpose.
Here's a Thraven Inspector. Lieutenant's going to turn into a 3/3 now. See if he wants to crack the clue now or wait it out. There's a land. I think Stasis Snare here in Anderson's hand, I believe.
It's a good leftover.
Yeah, it's not bad to have. Yep, there is Stasis Snare. All right.
Getting the Lamp Hole Pacifist out of the way, 1, because it's the largest creature, and 2, because Jones cannot protect it with Rattle Change, which he could do to the Spell Queller.
Now the question is, do you believe that Kevin has Dromoka's Command in his deck? And could you do anything about it even if he did?
To be blunt about it, Kevin's creatures are pretty crappy. Probably not a great deck for Dromoka's Command.
Yeah. Here's Rattle Chains.
He's going to fight, and the creature's +1/+1 in fight is still going to kill his own creature a good percentage of the time.
It's very true. So here's a double block. Yep, Lieutenant's going to take care of Queller. Dragon Hunter's going to come in. Going to deal 4 total. Jones down to 5 with just the Rattle Chains on the battlefield. He'll draw. Selfless Spirit. See how Jones wants to move forward now.
I don't know if Jones can put together 2 spells in 1 turn.
I don't think he can just yet.
And I don't think he has Collected Company in hand, which is a way of a proxy for 2 spells in 1 turn.
Here's Dragon Hunter. That's going to get eaten up. Going to crack the clue. Anointer Champions isn't bad.
Yeah, he's got the combo with Always Watching.
Mm-hmm.
And Jones has to kind of block everything for the rest of the game. So
there's a block. Here's Anointer, pass the turn back. And this makes combat horrible. So Jones will draw.
Also,
keep in mind, if he Planner Outbursts.
Right, there's a creature coming back.
Yeah, he gets the Dragon Hunter back.
You can see the problem in the matchup here. Jones's creatures just aren't that good at brawling at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Jones will pass the turn back.
Anderson's deck is forcing him to play defense, and he is not equipped to play defense.
Here's Always Watching. Another Spell Queller. Yep.
But these Spell Quellers are going to have to start trading now, and then all the stuff comes back.
Yep. As good as those are at what they do, eventually they die.
Yeah, they're not great at blocking.
Yeah.
They're not the type of cards you want for playing defense. You want to be tempoing, you want to be pushing ahead, you want to be leveraging. They're not built for board states like this, for matchups like this.
See how Kevin wants to block here.
And Jones doesn't even have Planar Outburst in hand, so he's not even drawing to land number 5 right now.
Yep. Jones just, yeah, it'll be fun to kind of rewatch this game at some point to just see if he quellered that Always Watching instead of getting cute to try to kill the Thalia's Lieutenant, what would happen?
And it was Todd's very subtle pointing to the Thalia's Lieutenant, like he was getting ready to move into combat.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great sell, and if Anderson doesn't make that small little move, it's possible Jones Spell Queller's the Always Watching, and we don't get to this board state.
So Anointer Champions is going to pump itself. Some things will be left over here. Kevin's going to lose both of his Spell Quellers. Now, well, we're going to find out right now if he has Planar Outburst in hand or not. There's a land that's going to the battlefield tab. Classic Port Town.
And you can see the nod of the head there from Anderson. He knows there's no Collected Company. He would have seen it before, and he knows now there's no Planar Outburst.
Todd Anderson going to win this match here over Kevin Jones. 2-1. White-Red Humans is going to take care of Bant Spirits. And for Anderson, a little crafty there, but gets the job done. He's 7-1 here with Humans.